Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Good to be here again. And my name is Todd Rains, owner and co-owner with my wife, Shelly of Woodturning Tool Store. We're here with you most every Friday afternoons at 2:30. I've missed a couple in the last month or so, but we're back, and so I'm happy to be here. So. Um, Good to have friends in the crowd as well already. Glenn, and good to see you here. Thank you for joining. Um, Lowell, good to have you here. Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you very much. And Lee, good to have you here as always. As always. And David Perez, yeah. So we got across the country here from Alabama up to Oregon, down south Texas, and over in Georgia. So good to have everybody here. And we got now Philip from across the pond. Thank you, Philip. Thanks for the kind words the other day on Facebook. I appreciate it. Vendor Showcase. Yeah, that was the reason why we were not live streaming last Friday, because we were doing our free Zoom session, Vendor Showcase. So myself and five of my wood turning vendor friends, Cindy, Lyle, Joe, John, and Steve. So that was a lot of fun. Thank you all for joining. And there's Cindy. Thank you for joining, Cindy. So just for you, M1 Mac Mini running this guy. So I'm kind of stoked about that. So what? Oh, sorry. Oops, I was muted. Okay, now. I don't know what that means. This is a live stream, David. So you can hear me. I can't hear you. So mute all you want. Excellent. And Cindy's both watching on YouTube and Facebook. So yeah, that's a good point. Up here, there's little icons. I'm streaming to both, actually, to my Woodturning Tool Store Facebook page, as well as my personal profile page, Todd Rains. So you can catch us there on either one. And of course, the YouTube, there it is, YouTube page as well. Woodturning Tool Store, search for that in either social platform and you'll find me. So Chris, hi, how you doing, Chris? Good to have you here. Yeah, no problem with the typos. I understood what you meant. So yeah, that is kind of funny. Paul B, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Hello all. Oh, let's look at that. Superman on YouTube. I like that. Like that avatar. Yeah, for the M1. I'm eager to hear how it goes. Yeah, so am I. So 30 seconds of geekdom. I know my wife is probably going to get bored with this, but I've been running all these live streams and all my Zoom club demos and every other demo I do on a PC and laptop out here in the shop with a second monitor. And I've never had a Macintosh in my life except for the iPad. So I thought at this M1 Mac Mini, at the price it is, it's just a small box. I can stick. It's self-enclosed. It's not going to get dusty and dirty and stuff. I can use a very cheap sacrificial keyboard and mouse pad for interfacing into it. So this is M1 Mac Mini is eventually going to take place, and there it is there behind me. This little guy will take place of the laptop. So that's the idea. Anyway, so moving some of the software over, getting used to the interface. Yeah, it's going to be it should be a lot of fun. Let's see. Other comment. Michael Thomas. Hi, this is Mike Thomas from Stillwell, Kansas. My first time here. Did you get the photo of my bowl in a bowl? Yeah, I believe I did. That was a few months back, right, Michael? I think I put that in one of the newsletters. If I didn't, let me know. But I thought I had posted, some bowl and bowl pictures in my newsletter. So good to have you here. Thank you for joining in, first time viewer. So that's always nice. These live streams, I don't plan out too well. I have a general theme of what I want to talk about. It's really driven about you and you guys, about what we want to do. I always get that wrong. Tools and equipment, processes and techniques, wood materials. But if there's any subject, any tool, any process or stuff that you guys want to hear about, throw it in the comments and I will be sure to address it either in this live stream or in a future one. So that's how we got into the Proform tool a couple of weeks ago. I think it was Carol or somebody else wanted to know a little bit about it, so we demoed it. So that's what this is about, helping you guys answer your questions and helping me produce a show. So yeah, put those comments and questions in there. I'd love to hear them. So what are we looking at today? First of all, this is me. You can find the website, Woodturning Tool Store. Just search for that on Google or wherever, and you can find my contact information there. Drop me a line, how you wish, if you need to contact me after today or after this live stream. So we are 5 years young, our company. So I'm happy to say that that's a nice milestone this week. Actually, Monday, the 11th, will be our actual anniversary date. So we're celebrating this week, and we are free shipping, US only, if you spend 150 or more in the store. So take advantage of that. It goes away Monday midnight. So that's a good value. It's usually good 12 to 15 bucks to ship some of this stuff. So it saves some cash. So take a look at that, take advantage of that, and we'll go that. A few other things just to kind of hit on. Turn an old Vox with a sphere lid. So this one is happening. This is my PRD happening. Let me put this up here. Let me turn myself off for a second. There it is. Oval box sphere lid, Saturday, April 30th at 12 noon Central. Register at Woodturning Tool Store. There's an events page. You can find it there. So that'll be a fun one. It'll be about a 3-hour demo, and looking forward to that one. So come join me if you can. That'd be great. So you can find that there. The next item up is, let's see, Cindy Drozda, our friend Cindy, has a demo coming up next week. Is it next week? Yeah, 13th. Nested egg boxes. So this is quite timely. I've been turning a lot of eggs in my live streams, and we had a lot of egg turning at the vendor showcase. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Take a look at that. You can register at Cindy's website, cindydrozda.com, and should be a lot of fun. I'll be there as a co-host, so we'll see you again. Next item. So this is kind of what I had in mind today. I should show one other thing. There's one other event that I want to talk about a little bit before I get to this slide. AAW is putting on one of their presents thing, Phil Irons doing hollow forms on April 16th. So that's next Saturday, I guess. Take a look at that. I'm going to be there. Phil has been a woodcut representative, I guess, or champion, ambassador, if you will, for a long, long time. He's going to be using the Proform tool and some other stuff. So take a look at that. That's going to be a good place to get some insight on how that tool works. And so I'm looking forward to that one as well. Let's see. I got to move that one. And so some ideas. I posted this in my live stream almost a month and a half ago. So, and at the vendor showcase, I showed off a few of the bunnies. And if I show this picture, here they are there. So these are all turned from eggs, egg 1, egg 2, egg 3, and then a second guy over there. The second guy kind of came out a bit mousy, but supposed to be bunny rabbits, little articulating heads. So we're going to talk a little bit about how I shaped some of this stuff today. And if you have any other questions beyond that, we'll address those as well. But I just want to talk a little bit about my process and what I went through. There was a lot of experimentation that didn't go well, and then finally hit on some that did go well. So let's see. I have some. Oh, there's my wife. Hey, Shelly, I saw a new comment. Hello, thank you for joining. Hope you're all doing well. Oh, a little heart. I didn't know you could do hearts. That's nice. Excellent. Well done, Shelly. Thank you. Yeah, there's Cindy's site, Cindy Drozda, Nested Eggs. Check that out. I don't know if it's hard to put links in this StreamYard. I'm using StreamYard for this this event. So, and put that little bug up there. That little bug works. Okay, good. Yeah, sorry, a little distracted there. We are going to take a look at some of the things I did to do this. There's this back here. I've got a little measuring tool. What I want to talk about first is, sort of my proportions on this guy. So I'm going to move this guy out of the way a little bit, and we'll talk about this guy, and I'll turn. So first of all, I've got little magnets here that are holding his head on, and it's a little socketed recess in here, and a flat on the head to show, to kind of use as a socketed head. So, but I'll turn them straight forward to get a nice profile shot. The length of this egg is about 3 inches, and it's about 2 inches wide. So it's a 3 by 2 egg. This one is about 1.5 by 2. And then this little guy is probably 3/4 inches wide. So if we look at the backside, 3/4 inches wide by 1 3/8 tall. So, and then of course sanded off and glued on here and stuff. So we'll take a look at some of that. The other thing we want to note is I have legs on this one. I don't have legs on this one over here behind my head. But legs are optional. I think it kind of adds to it. So I think this guy will get, this guy might get legs. This one is actually the auction winner. This is going to Mary Alice Burke in California, along with one of the eggs I turned. So thank you, Mary Alice, for donating to Bike MS at Vendor Showcase. So well done. So the profile in this guy, you can kind of see we've got eye sockets. So I've got rabbits. We've got rabbits in the backyard. I took a lot of photos, and they've always got this sort of, very thin upper nose and then very puffy cheeks. So that's what I wanted to emulate here with this profile in the socket. And that socket runs quite a ways. This guy wasn't quite the same sort of profile. I've got his head kind of tipped up, and the profile didn't come in close enough to the nose and make a bridge. So, but still a cute little guy. Setting the ears askew, not exactly the same on either side. Looks like maybe he's twisting his ear one side to look elsewhere. The mouth is carved out and then painted in with black, so it is relief carved a little bit. Same with the nose area. And so the body is all, and the head, they're all out of pine, 2x4 pine, if I will. So just some nice construction grade lumber, nice and cheap to use. Good thing about it is when you texture it, and I'll show you a bit of that as well, it kind of, gives this sort of fur type look to it. To get this color, I first wanted to do a layered sort of milk paint. So I put on a base coat of white gesso, then a base coat of white milk paint, then 2 or 3 coats of brown and 1 black, and then another couple coats of brown, and then the idea was going to sand through that or texture through it to expose, and it just didn't work out quite that way. So I took it to the lathe here and just used a wired wheel and just took it right down to bare wood and started grinding away and get that nice texture feel to it. And so it's quite rough in its feel, but the softwood of the pine, the heartwood and softwood, sapwood, gives you that exposed sort of feel to the fur. Base coat of white and a little bit grayed white, not true white, but a drop of black in the whole mix, and got a little bit gray. And then a brush coat, a very dry coat on top of the brown, so you leave some of the gray in between. So that's what I did. I left the socket sort of pure brown, and then black sort of fabric paint, black and white fabric paint. Try to get some texture in the ears, and then lighten up the back of the ears a little bit with some different shades. So anyway, that's that guy. So how do I go about creating the body? First, we're going to turn these ears, because these are it's not a true split turning. It's a turning that's split, I guess. Just reversing the words. And so I'll do that first. Excuse me. I'll create the ears. I've already got a head sort of already created here. This one happens to be out of some old poplar or something like that, so it's not maybe the best wood. And I don't have a body ready, but we'll show most of the texture on this stuff. So before I do make these ears, I want to show how I kind of came up with this sort of angle, because I think this angle of the egg works best. We can see the axis of the egg running from here all the way up to there, and that happens to be around, if I set this in front, 30 degrees is about where it's at. So I'll get that set, and you'll see as soon as I get it sort of there and out of the way, we'll kind of see that, take the head off for a second, that is kind of about the angle. It's about a 30-degree angle. So what I would do with an egg like that is I would get on a flat platform like this, and I'm going to move this back just a little bit. So bear with me. I get on a platform like that, hold the egg up to the kind of the angle, and then draw my pencil mark using a flat platform. And that kind of gives me a reference of where I'm going to hold that on a sanding disc. So now that I've got that mark there, I know this is basically stuck on a sanding disc and sanded flat to get that flat down there. So, and then it's a matter of drawing a parallel line to that line up at the top to get the top platform. So that's not quite straight. That one's a bit better. So that's basically how it goes. And then for this socketed version, this radius is, there's some hand carving involved, but a lot of that can get done on the sanding disc, which is sitting right back here. So we'll mount that up, and I'll go through that process as well a little bit and see how that goes. So that's how that goes. Let me put these guys aside so I don't drop them or anything. This guy I'll keep here. And turn that off. So first of all, we'll turn the ears. We'll mount this and do a little bit of sanding, and we'll go through that. There's a little sanding disc needed, a little sanding drum needed to make this kind of go. So we catch up on let's see. What's Lowell saying? I'm thinking about getting an Axminster chuck because those O'Donnell jaws look so cool. You get some great results from yours. I do. Question. Okay. O'Donnell jaws, is the largest jaw opening 4 inches? Any plan for you to sell that chuck? 4 inches? No, I don't think it's 4 inches. No, I don't know. So one, I guess I don't know everything about the O'Donnell jaws. I know about the ones that I got. So if I go to overhead, so this is the SK100. It's the medium-sized chuck. There's a SK80, which I think is 80 millimeters this diameter. This is 100 millimeters, which is 4 inches. So maybe that's what you're looking for. Is that the 4 inch you're referring to? Not sure. And then there's an SK114, which I have one of those too, with different jaws. So here's the SK114, and I'll turn this one and this one over. You can see the size difference. So, and the 114 has a backing on it, backing plate. The O'Donnell jaws, there's a couple of varieties. There is this kit that I have, which has the inserts in it. And then you can get just straight O'Donnell jaws of, I think, 2 or 3 different sizes for the chucks. So there's non-insert O'Donnell jaws, and then there's the insert O'Donnell jaws. And these inserts, let me take your question down for a second. What's this one? Think about the max opening of the jaws. Okay, so this, if I can put that on there. So That'll go through. If I put that on, just as a third hand, I just need something to hold. These inserts are little jaw adapters, basically. So there is, I believe, the outer jaw here, and if I go, is that one going to show? Yeah, it kind of does. It's a little dark. Let me bear with me as a second as I brighten that picture up a little bit. So this is the base jaw, and I think these are 50 millimeters or 2 inches when they're fully closed. That could be, I think, the inside tenon grip. The outside recess grip is about 65. When you put the first set of inserts in, these ones, now you've got a tenon grip of around 32 or 33 inches, which most of my egg blanks I've prepped to that diameter, so they fit those jaws. And then the outer is around 38 millimeters. There's another set that takes this even smaller, so you'd take these ones out, replace these with the smaller ones, so it goes down to 25 millimeters or an inch on the inside, and I think add 8 to 25, 32 or 33 on the outside. So each one of these is around 4 millimeters thick. So that's how those work. They are numbered. So number 1 insert goes on number 1 jaw. Number 2 insert goes on number, 2 is over here. So they are numbered and they are set up. Same with this, the jaws to the slides and the inserts to the jaws, etc. So that's the 3-in-1 set that I have for the Donald jaws. Max opening, don't know. Maybe Cindy knows on the one she has, which is not the 3-in-1, the single Donald jaws. I don't think they get to 4 inches. With 4 inches, I think you have to get bigger jaws. On my SK 114, I got the C jaws, which are 3 inches, I think, in here, and massive dovetails for heavy stuff on the outside. So hopefully that kind of answers. The Woodturning store is the current reseller in the U.S. Steve Fulgoni up in New York. Would I sell these if I had the opportunity? I probably would. I do like them. They are a quality chuck. So, but let's get on to doing this. I'll use my smaller tool rest. This won't take long, but I wanted to show this step because it's kind of interesting. So what I've got is my stick of wood. What I've done is tapered the end to fit a Morse taper. Use a little jig to measure it, and make sure you get a good sort of Morse taper fit, and just jam it right in there. Easy enough to do for this kind of project. And I will get my little gouges, my safety glasses. Oops. And this won't take too long. We'll just turn a rough 1 3/8 long, which is going to be, I'm going to have to pare this down probably about there. We'll leave a little tenon on it so we can grip it in a chuck, only for the purposes of splitting it. It's got a little wobble to it, not a big deal. I'm just going to kind of just true that up. I don't really need to true it up a whole lot. I'm going to just start turning an egg shape. This is not really a true egg. It's really an egg shape that's long and skinny to make it look like ears. So however you think bunny ears look, that's what you want to do here. And this is just some scrap pine I had. Kind of looks bullet shape. Maybe a little bit of, it's not really even going to be egg shape, if you will. It's going to have just a little bit of taper at the bottom. It's going to really be more about what bunny ears kind of look like. And use a nice softwood sandpaper is going to help you shape a little bit. So no shame in that in my regard. We're just trying to get a design going. So I've got a little chunk of 80 grit gouge. Just round off that nose a little bit. Don't need it quite so pointy. This is about creating the bunny and not really too worried about the process of turning on this project. So, and just a little bit smooth. Doesn't have to be terrifically smooth, but that's about it. I'll just use my little narrower tool, and I'm gonna leave a little tenon. I do need my parting tool. I'll grab that. I'm leaving a little shoulder there. We'll just part that off, and that'll be our ears. So let's move that out of the way. Let's get the knockout bar. Knock this little piece out. Not that I really need to, but just get it out of the way. Now let's split that guy. So we're gonna put that right about there. We're gonna get this handy dandy device, the ProMount carving tool, carving stand from Woodcut. Very nice unit. And I got my little chuck with pin jaws. It's really just a way to hold this little guy while we, and I'm going to, well, we'll show you. I'm going to reach behind me. I didn't get this, get a little handsaw out, which I have down here in my little drawer there. Move that over a little bit more. So that's, let me, oops. Let's turn that down to the turning again here. So we've got that in there. What we could do is I want to split this in half with a little handsaw. That's what we're going to use. And I realize I'm covering that up. So we can loosen that, and that'll adjust this pro mount so I can turn it any way I want. That's the outer handle. Let me just widen out a little bit. So the outer handle here will allow the arbor, that arbor, which by the way is threaded. I found out it's a 1/4 BSP, British Standard pipe thread. So so that's what you'd use there for the fitting. I just found that out the other day. So that allows you to kind of put that in there. The other one, which I'm backwards here, I've got to, there we go, allows this to swivel the one way or the other. So one thing I will say is I had this set up the other on another live stream, and I kept bashing my knuckles here. And so I talked to Woodcut, and they're actually going to replace the nylon washer in there with a thicker one. So that'll mean this handle will spin over to the other side a bit further away. So you shouldn't have to worry about bashing knuckles. I think that'll be an upgrade or a retrofit that you can do. So I like the fact that they have listened and watched my live stream and said, "Oh, well, we can fix that." So very nice of them to be able to do that. So So what I wanted to do was to possibly turn this, orient the grain where I want to split it. It might just be easier to cut that way. I cut it with the grain, across the grain, however you feel fit. But we're just going to split it right down the middle. Little Japanese pole saw. This is Dazuki. It's got a Cindy had mentioned that Dazukis have the ridge or the rigid back on them. This is a nice thing about pine. It just cuts so quick and easy. And I'll cut down to where that tenon area was and then just cut them both off. And then we got ears. Now we do have to carve the inside out. We can do a little bit of that right here on the Pro Mount as well. So I will put my saw away so I don't ruin the teeth. Let's put that down over here. And I've got my little carving tools, which I don't have out, I guess. I put them back. Yes, I did. I won't do all the carving, but I'll show you a little bit of how I, just jury-rigged this this carving vise for carving these little things. So I open up the gaps in the jaws, took one of my little ears. Oops, there goes my key. And certain jaws might be better for this than others, but I just basically clamped it right in there. And little carving tools. Let me take this off for a second. Just a little cheap set of carving tools, a little spoon bit, if you will, and we'll tighten up a little bit. And this other picture might actually be better. Yeah, there we go. So, and just a little bit of carving down in there. Doesn't take that long with a nice sharp gouge. And that's it. That's the bunny ears. So, and that's a little blown out on camera. So let me shade that a little bit. You can kind of see we've kind of carved out, part of the ears already. So you'd do that with the second one. Do that with the second one. Carve out your inside of your ear. I have to do more of that. And you got 2 ears. Now the next thing to do is to conform it to the shape of the head. So I'm going to have to do some sanding to get that to interface there. So that's another sanding jig. So, but that's the Pro Mount carving system. Very handy for this kind of stuff. And let me just close that jaw up a little bit. What else do I want? Oh, I want to show. Yeah, I'll just show a little bit of the. I won't actually do it, but when I had this guy, I'll show you how I sanded this, but I basically did the same thing. I got a larger jaw set, and I think I actually used the what did I? Oh, I know what I did. Yeah, this is another cool facet I used this thing for. Is that one going to work? Nope. Let's use this one. I think it is. This is my big Axminster chuck, but I'm using it because I've made the tenon the size, and I'm off the screen, and go a little wider. Made the tenon on my jam chuck to fit this chuck. So what we're going to do is lock that in. And the way I carved this guy is I used, and that's the wrong size jam chuck for that. carve that out for doing this one, but I'll show you. I had a little piece of paper towel and jammed that guy in there. And now I can sit here and carve in this guy. It's pretty steady in there. And so if I switch over to that, zoom out. So now you got a bit of a carving stand. You can sit here and carve. And what I carved out was this little area in here. So I'll show you how I sand that first, and then you'll see why I need to carve it out, because it doesn't get quite that up and down. But yeah, carving for different things, using your jam chuck for different purposes. I think that works well. So that's a couple of ways to use the carving stand and your already produced jam chucks. Put that back up on the board. Put this away. So now we'll get out the sanding disc, and I'll show that process. So first of all, let me show this thing. This is just a block of, I think, beech. I had a bunch of beech up there. So tapped 1 1/4 by 8 to fit my spindle. A little recess in here, shoulder tenon, fits on this little flat piece here. So I want it to fit on this face, and so it's nice and snug up to the wood. So it's nice if you need to put an extra block back there. You don't want to have as much thick space, then you can certainly do that. I've done that on a large one, but you can see it well, can't see, but it. If I can get that far, that's as far as I can get. It shoulders right up to that flat spot there. Stop there. I'll bring the dust collecting hood up, and I'll get my little tool rest just to have a little bit of support. We will take a sacrificial. So this is the one I marked. So there's the line that's 30 degrees off the center axis. So we're going to mark that flat for the base of the body. That would be this base. And then the parallel line up here is the flat for the top. So easy enough to understand the base, but we'll turn on the dust collector, turn the speed down. We'll use this tool rest as a bit of a holding spot. We're lining up our flat mark. Lining up our flat mark there, and just watching it as it goes away, and try to maintain flatness. I'm also trying to, just to stop the dust collector, I want the grain to be right down the middle of the back. So I want this flat on this side to be on the flat. So I need to sand more on this side than this side. So I need to kind of straighten myself out. Having the grain oriented that way allows you to get that texture through the soft and hard grain going in the right direction of the body. If you have it this way, then you're going to have a bald spot on top with the side grain, and it's just going to look funky. So try and get it symmetrical along the grain. So I need to tilt this way a little bit. Check that I'm going parallel. Check that I'm kind of going flat across the grain a bit more. Turn that back on. How big of a flat spot is kind of up to you. We're getting pretty good in terms of being perpendicular to the grain. We've got a fairly clogged up piece of sandpaper. Get our sandpaper cleaner and clean that off. It's going to be much more efficient if it's clean. That looks pretty good to me. So that's a flat spot. Now to do this top spot, we're going to parallel that line, but I'm going to go off the edge of the sandpaper disc. So if I stop this, I got sandpaper right up to the edge, right? And it's kind of worn out, but it gives you a bit of a shelf, if you will. I'll back that back just a little bit. Going parallel, just kind of, and just seeing how close I am. I got to kind of tip it a bit more this way. I'm building that shelf for the head. Get a bit more. I'm going to twist it a bit more this way. A bit more of a shelf. And a bit more twisted this way. And we're starting to get that shelf built up, right? So now turn that off. Let's clean this off while I'm here. Stop that. So this is where we need now to round this out to make more of a head socket, if you will, or a shoulder or a neck or whatever you want to call it for the bunny. So that is the area that we need to hand carve. And again, stick your pro mount in your base and your chuck with your jam chuck, and away you go with carving that guy off. So that's how I did that and that. And the head, very similar. This is the wrong size head for this body, but you kind of get the idea. It would go in there. So that's kind of where you get that curved line. You look at the shadow and away you go. So let me just scroll up, take a look at some of the questions. Let's see. Links aren't clickable. I get it. Thank you. I appreciate it, Cindy. Thank you very much. Lowell is back to. I'm thinking about getting the accent to Chuck because those are okay. We already did that, didn't we? Yep, I did. Sorry, I went back too far. Thanks, Lowell. I have two, Lisa. I have two SK114s plus the O'Donnell jaws plus several different jaws. Yep. I don't have the biggest one, just the middle one. Thanks for the explanation. Good stuff. Looks like they have 25 millimeter, 38, and 50. Yeah, that's the 3-in-1 set that I have. 25, 38, and 50. What I had on now is the 38 millimeters, the middle ones. So, so I'm trying to scroll my little mouse pad here. Adam, good to have you here. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good to have you here. Shelley is saying, Woodcut is a great company to work with. Thanks to Dan, Jennifer, and Haley. You're all a pleasure to work with. Yes, absolutely. Oh, Michael, glad to have you here. Good you could make it. I think you're still a working fella. Well, no, you said you retired. So, yeah, these 2:30 times are tough for some people. Shelley saying happy Friday to Michael, and thank you. So yeah, but it's a story that I've told many times. Why 2:30? I had a nickname of 2:30 Todd when I was working. That's where Shelley and I met 30 some odd years ago. So we kind of revived the idea. So 2:30 Todd stuck, and it's sticking with me 30 years later. So let's see. So we got the bunny body. We've got the ears. How do we how do we get the ears to kind of get onto the head? So if that's the body, if we pretend this is the head, oh, I got to do the eye sockets too. So let's do that. So that's also on this jig here as well. So here's the flat of this head. I'm going to go to the opposite side and see I've got this center line of grain going down the snout, top of the nose. So I've drawn a little nostril and snout here, little smiley face there. It's hard to see with the pencil. So my eyes are going to be in around here somewhere. And let me just do this in Sharpie so you guys can maybe see a bit better. So here's the smiling face of our little rabbit. Here's our eyes. Our ears will go here and here, something like that. So that's what we want to do is sand out these eye sockets. These eye sockets are going to be kind of along here, type of idea. So we can do that right on the sanding disc as well, part of it anyway, not all of it. But same idea with the ledge for the head. And so we'll just start the dust collector on that one again. And drop this tool rest a little bit so I can get at the side of the wheel here. And just kind of roughly where we were, sticking it right on that corner. And we start to get an eye socket forming there. Now we kind of have to go upside down for the other one, but let's see, how did I do this one? I'm trying to cut down this angle and come out this angle. So this face is the inside bridge of the nose. So that's what I'm trying to get done there. And this one I have to go upside down. And a little bit more. Living door there and trying just to get it sort of evened up. It's looking a little bit mouse-like. I think the shape is just a bit too rounded here. It should be a bit more pointed. But that's kind of the idea. And then we follow that up with something that I have somewhere. I have little sanding sticks somewhere, so bear with me. They're here somewhere. Oh, they're in this box here. There they are. I have a little box full of all kinds of little sanding equipment, little sanding sticks. I got tongue depressors with sandpaper on them. There's the little dowels. I use these in my piston box demo and other demo. I can't remember which one. But those kind of fit right in that socket there. So you can do some hand sanding with that and kind of get those sockets made up a little bit. You can use a power carving tool of some sort and grind out those. These would have to be a lot deeper, I think, for my liking. So, but that's how you'd go about doing that. A little bit of work. Might have to replace your sandpaper because I'm pretty well worn right at the edge. So let's do one last little bit. And self-employed, working Monday and Tuesday. Oh, good job. That was Michael. I'd mentioned I thought he was retired, but he's doing a little bit of work, which is excellent. Let me one more sanding trick. A little sanding stick between centers. I use this one on my the piston box demo as well. Yep. So I had to think for a second where I use this guy. So I've got I'll have to change on my next one, but I originally used this 4-prong center for mounting this guy. I've got the headstock side with those markings, so he kind of falls into that spot right there. Tailstock side, it's a little bit off camera, is in a standard tailstock center of my lathe. I can't seem to get that in. There we go. I just kind of wiggle it to get into those 4 prongs into the right slot and tighten that up. And it should run relatively true. It's a little wobbly down here, but it's pretty good down here. So with these ears, it's just a matter, once you got them carved out, and I'll use the carved one. This dowel is about 1 inch. This guy is about 1 inch, so the radius is about right. So it's close enough. It's good enough with this. A lot of sort of glue helps. So I'm just sanding this ear to kind of a conformal shape. There we go. That looks pretty good. Doesn't take long at all. And if we put that on there, we've got that ear kind of set up. So now we can go anywhere on that sort of sphere area. And super glue, or what do you call it, CA glue, that on there. Use thick stuff. This is pretty porous wood. You might have to put a seal coat on there, let it dry, and then stick it on there. Blow with some accelerator, and then fill in the gaps. It's all going to be covered in paint. So that's how I do the ears. So those are pretty good size ears for this guy. And point one off to the side, one up this way, pointing straight ahead. Give it some personality. So, but that kind of runs through pretty much everything. The only thing I really didn't cover is the legs, and the legs on this guy are basically done the same way as the ears. Just jammed this into the headstock, spindle, taper, turned this circular shape of the leg, a little relief for the I can't really see that. Let me see that. Let me just zoom tighter on this guy. So a little circular relief for like where the toes are. Put a little saw slots for the toes. They kind of got filled in with paint. Can't really see them very well anymore. But and then took them to the sander right here and sanded those legs at a very acute angle to get them to conform up to this radius here. So, and then a boatload of glue that's all hidden with paint and stuff. So yeah, that's the way that guy worked out. So that is the little rabbit that could be. So I think he's pretty cute. This is my wife's. I don't know what she named it Bunny. He sits with the gnomes, amongst the gnomes in the Arrow Garden stuff. So let me pause there for a second and just remind everybody join me on my oval box with the sphere lid demo. That is this guy. Oops. That didn't work. That worked. There we go. That's this guy on this side. So nice oval box. I can't ever get that right. with sphere lids. This one's textured quite a bit. This one is nice, sort of blonde poplar with a Paduke sphere, nicely finished, high polished Paduke with grain filler. And this last one is bare cherry, both top and the box. And the last one on the end is a small cherry box with a Paduke lid. So another one there. So size of the lid or the sphere fits the opening, and so there's some personal choices there to make and stuff like that. Nice flared rim on all of them. So we use hook tool. Go through a little mini hook tool with that. The sphere part of it is sort of my way of turning spheres, which is a fairly rudimentary way, but it's a good way to learn practice cuts and kind of use your eyes to get that sphere shape. So sometimes it works better than other times I try it, but I think it's a good practice. I've always learned to turn forms and shape from eye, and so there's some tricks to help you do that as well. Next week, join Cindy for her nested egg box demo. Beautiful little boxes. Looking forward to that one, and timely as well with the egg boxes. So, and then there's our eggs. Again, the fill irons demo on the Saturday. So you can always come and join me every Friday afternoon, 2:30, and take a look at what I'm doing in the shop. And again, bring your questions. Post questions to me on these videos, either on Facebook or YouTube, with what you'd like to see next time. I'd be happy to take a look at those and hopefully do those kind of answer your questions, your topics, address those as we see fit. Let me just back up. Oh yeah, reminder: 5 years, woohoo! And all things wood turning is going to be back next Friday as well. So yeah, we should be. I'm trying to think. There's because Saturday is Phil's thing, and then Wednesday is Cindy's thing. So yeah, I think that's it. What? Oh, thank you, Cindy, for posting that. Oops. Yeah, there she's posted both of them. Yeah, the comments you may see they work in Facebook. I'm not sure if they do or not. She said they probably weren't, but you can find it on our websites. But with that, I don't think I have anything else to share with you today. I hope to see you next week at my live stream. Hope to see you Wednesday on Cindy's thing, and we'll certainly look forward to meeting up with you at some point. That's it from me, Todd Rains, in the Wood Turning Tool Store shop, and we'll see you next week. Thanks very much, everyone. I gotta hit the button.